Welcome! I'm Allison, your tour guide, and I'm going to take you on a video tour of the judicial branch of our federal government. That's the branch that interprets the country's laws. At the head of the judicial branch is the Supreme Court of the United States. So let's start our tour at the home of the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. This is the Supreme Court. Inside this building, decisions are made that affect the lives of every one of us. It just might be that you go to the school that you do because of a Supreme Court decision. That's right. In 1954, the Supreme Court said that schools couldn't separate children by their race. Before that decision, in certain states, there were laws that said that white children had to go to one school and African American children had to go to another school. It's hard to even imagine that now, but before the Supreme Court said that those kinds of laws went against the Constitution, that's the way things were. That decision was called Brown versus the Board of Education. That's how all court cases are referred to. One side versus or against the other. We'll talk more about Brown versus the Board of Education a little later. Before we do that, let's talk about how the Supreme Court, the judicial branch, and the whole federal government came to be. For that, we have to travel back in time to 1787, and that's what we're going to do now. This is Independence Hall in Philadelphia. It's called that because this is where, in 1776, the leaders of the 13 colonies declared their independence from Great Britain and King George III. It is also the place where the leaders of the 13 states came in 1787 to write a constitution for the new country. What's a constitution? A constitution is a framework or an outline for a government. The people who came here in 1787 didn't actually plan to write a new constitution. They only wanted to revise the one that was already in place. It was called the Articles of Confederation. A confederation is a very loose association of strong, independent parts. Under the Articles of Confederation, the states, the parts, had most of the power. The central government had very little. But that government wasn't working very well. Why? Well, let's hear what two important leaders of the time have to say. First, James Madison of Virginia.
This government cannot succeed because the Articles of Confederation lack the great principles of a political system. It's merely a treaty of friendship between the various states.